Hey guys, Welsknight here, and welcome back to another episode from the Hermitcraft server. In today's episode, I want to do a little bit of the preliminary work on our port. You can see that island that used to be right here. It's gone. I got rid of it. Took a little while. Decided to set up the beacon to speed up the process because I went down a couple layers and hit stone. But it's gone, and I think we're ready to start working on our port. Although it's going to be a pretty big project. We're definitely not going to be able to finish it in one episode. I wanted to talk a little bit about a couple of the comments from last episode because there were a few of them that were very common. First of all, a lot of you said, add bows and arrows to the armory. And I actually brought bows and arrows here with me when I built this room. And for some reason, I just didn't implement them. I don't know why. I meant to. I don't know. It just slipped my mind or something. Whatever. But so I added a couple bows and arrows. I think it's a great addition to the armory. Also, this little forge right here, this is not going to be the forge for the castle. We're going to build a proper blacksmith, maybe even a couple of them in the castle, but this is just kind of like a little one that they could make use of to, fix small things. But we'll have like a proper blacksmith somewhere in the castle. Also, a lot of you asked, hey, idiot, there's a villager breeder trading hall thing right next to your castle. Why didn't you use this one built by the amazing Mumbo Jumbo instead of going all the way to Cubfan's Island to get your mending books? This villager breeder, none of the guys are marked, and I don't think any of them actually sell mending, and most of them don't even have their trades, unlocked. I think, I did check these guys. I don't think any of them actually sell mending at all, or unbreaking, for that matter, which was the other book that I needed to get a lot of. I'm just looking to make sure. Yeah. None of the librarians here sell mending. The other thing, too, is that Cubfan is generous enough to let us use his materials for trading. So, his potatoes and carrots and pumpkins and melons to gather, to get the emeralds we need to trade. And it's already provided by, the super farms that he's built. Whereas with this one that Mumbo built, I'd have to get my own. I'd have to plant potatoes, put bone meal in here, and then trade them. And it's just, yeah. I love Mumbo, don't get me wrong, but Cubfan's trading center is significantly better. I save a lot more time going over there just because the infrastructure is there to have the items that you would have to trade to the villagers to get emeralds, and then etc. But yeah, no mending villager over here, no unbreaking villager. None of these guys are labeled. Most of their trades aren't unlocked. So I was just better off time-wise heading over to Cubfan's, especially since he was kind enough to let everyone on the server make use of his villager breeder, which he has put a lot of time and stuff into. So that was why. But anyway, let's get to the port. I don't think I need this beacon anymore. I just needed to get rid of this island, which I brought down to this level all the way down here so it doesn't look completely unnatural. I'm not going to go in and replace this stuff with sand and dirt. It's fine. It's far enough from the water where you're not actually even really going to be able to see it. But I got rid of the island that was here so we could actually have the port. Now, the first thing that I wanted to do, and I was looking, there's a server called Articraft, which is, they build primarily in the Conquest resource pack. So it's not, perfectly translatable, or I should say they build in the Conquest mod. So everything on that server isn't completely translatable to what we have here on Hermitcraft, because there's a lot of extra blocks and textures and things like that we simply don't have in vanilla. But a lot of the general ideas and themes can be translated, and I was kind of browsing around that server. It's a public server. Just Google it. It's ARDA Craft, Artacraft. There's some really cool builds on there, and a lot of medieval castle-y type stuff and things like that. I've actually taken a lot of inspiration, like that. The houses and stuff that we built over there were heavily inspired by some of the things I saw on that server. I don't think I've actually mentioned that yet, but anyway, there's a city. I forget the name of it, but there's a city there that has a really big and very cool port, and I was looking at that and trying to get some ideas for how I want to do this, and I think the very first thing we need to make is a retaining wall, right? Something that would keep the sea at bay and give us a clear separation between the land here and then the sea. So I'm not going to do the whole thing on camera because it's just going to be kind of a repeated pattern, but I want to do the first little bit of it together, and what I'm thinking we're going to do is we'll start like down here. We'll go maybe like that with andesite, and then we'll top it off with a, or maybe we'll even go up to here, because basically our walking height, I want it to be like 3 tall. We may even go up higher than that. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, and then a capstone, right? And then let's go 1, 2, 3. Yeah, let's do it that way. So we'll go like that, right? And then this, a jump, this height right here is where you would actually walk. And then the advantage of this, right? And then in between we would do probably some sort of mixture of stone, maybe? You know what? I think maybe we're going to do this instead. Let's go there. And let's just bring this out. And cap it off like that. I think this will look better. So we'll have like little pillars extending from the thing here, and I'll bring these down all the way once we in a minute. Don't worry. So let's go like that, right? So we'll have kind of this retaining wall that's going to go all the way around this whole edge, and then am I aqua scarring right now? I am totally aqua scarring right now. Oh, and now I'm not. Ah. Okay, anyway. The advantage of that, then, is we get some height variation, right? So we have the height up here, and then the dock, when we put the actual docks themselves in, I don't actually have a crafting bench on me at the moment. I've probably got 20 of them sitting in my storage area, but whatever. Just as an example, we can put our docks down. Oop, come back. We can put our docks at like this level, right? Have like a little staircase that leads down. And then if you think about it, when you have like ships, right? The ships are going to come up high enough where you're going to need to be up a little bit higher to get on them, right? You're going to have to be up at this level, maybe even up at this level here, in order to board those ships, because they're going to be large, right? Big, huge commercial ships with lots of room for cargo and stuff like that. If we're making like full-scale ships, and I need to do some research as to the time period to figure out what types of ships they would have had in the Middle Ages. But either way, we're going to have to get this up off the ground for sure. And the retaining wall will also, I think, just look really nice as far as separating the sea from the terrain and do some pretty cool things for us and allow us to make like a pretty cool boardwalk and all that kind of stuff. So first things first, let me get the retaining wall in place. Let me get this beacon torn down as well, and then I'll be back with ya. All right, guys, I am back. Check it out. We've got the retaining wall in place. I changed up the design a little bit. I tried the pillars on the outside and it just didn't look right. Mostly because kind of the weird the wall's sort of a weird shape. So there were some spots where the pillars just didn't look right. So I got rid of them. We did stone brick and variants of stone brick, like the mossy stone and the cracked stone brick, on the bottom 2 layers. And then the top layer, I decided to do polished andesite. And then I need something to pillar up with. There we go. And then up here, I did the same thing on this side and added these stone slabs. I think these are just kind of a placeholder. I haven't decided what I want to do here for this particular material. I may use wood. I may use some other stone thing. I'm not sure. But the stone slabs are just kind of a placeholder. I may decide to stick with them, but I'm not really a huge fan of the way they look. It's a little too perfect. The lines are a little bit too perfect. So I'm thinking we'll probably swap that out for something else later on. But we do have the retaining wall in place, which is awesome. Also, I want to address... am I... No? Nope, that was a terrible takeoff. Try again, self. There we go. I want to address something else. This was a comment on the last video, and it was a great suggestion. So we've got this area here, right? And this is our big kind of natural bay, and this is... actually, looking at this wall, I think I'm going to extend out. Yeah, I think I'm going to make that retaining wall bigger. I was thinking, because our main wall is going to kind of come along this way and then cut across. You can see where I've marked out where that wall's going to go, and I was thinking, oh, it'll intersect right here, and then this will be our main port. But now that I'm looking at this from this angle, I'm thinking we'll still bring the wall across, but the main port, the large port, is actually going to come all the way over to here, I think. So I need to extend that wall, which is doable. That's perfectly fine. That shouldn't even take me that long. But anyway, the suggestion was that we use this as kind of the main port for larger ships, and then we turn this one, this little bay over here, into a second port. And I'd probably terraform this a little bit. I'd probably just kind of fill this little bit in right here, so we wouldn't have that one block. And then we have, you know, kind of this steep drop off over here. But we'd probably pull this over, and then the wall would kind of come along here and down. And we'd turn this into basically a second port, but for much smaller ships. So like your big ships, your big cargo ships and stuff like that would go here, you know, ships for trading, bringing in, importing, exporting goods, stuff like that. Those would dock in this big main port over here, and then this one would be used for smaller ships, maybe like fishing boats, personal, privately owned, you know, little smaller boats and ships and things like that. And I think that's actually a really cool idea. It's a great suggestion. I don't know exactly how I'd want to implement it as far as how we would differentiate it and make it obvious that this is for smaller ones. I suppose it would just be a matter of building smaller boats over here and bigger ships over here, or something. Either way, I like this suggestion. I think it's a really cool idea. And then maybe we'll put like a lighthouse of some sort, like not a beacon in the Minecraft sense, where, you know, the big beam of light that shoots up into the sky, but some sort of like a beacon or a lighthouse right here. I think this would be a great spot for one to help guide ships in. Or it's also possible that I could terraform this little area a little bit and put a lighthouse right there as well. That would also be a potential option. But yeah, we're making some progress. Things are coming along. We're getting there. There's still a lot left to do that I haven't done yet. Now, another thing, I also cleared out a bunch of the land around this as far as getting rid of trees and stuff like that. I do have something, though, I want to discuss with you guys and kind of get your opinion on. That isn't directly, in fact, isn't at all related to Hermitcraft. So in the last episode, I told a little story right at the very beginning about how I had fallen asleep listening to Northern Lion, who is a YouTuber who I watch relatively often. What did I come here for? Cobblestone. Yes, I remember. And there were several comments that were like, oh, I didn't even know that you enjoyed The Binding of Isaac. I didn't know you played, or whatever. And to be honest, I really wouldn't consider myself an Isaac player. I've been watching Northern Lion a lot longer than I've been playing Binding of Isaac. IDK. I like him as a commentator, as a content creator, and he's one of those people that I watch regardless of what game he is actually playing. I could care less what game he was playing, but he's best known for playing Binding of Isaac. And to be honest, that's a game that I was very hesitant to play at all. You know, the art style of it, it's, to be blunt, it's a pretty dark game. It's dark and it's kind of twisted, and I have a pretty dark sense of humor. I find it humorous, but I can see where some people would be very turned off in relation to that game and think this what is this? No, this is not. You know, it's the graphical style and the themes of the game are done in such a way that I could see it making some people very uncomfortable. Let's put it that way. Do we want to do that? Or do we... Yeah, let's just kind of spread these out as best we can. I'm trying to... I want to make like a little overhead hang thing. I don't really know how to describe it, but it's going to go up here, and I think we'll just go gap of 2 between these, and I think that'll work relatively well. But anyway, so it took me a long time to actually try the game out because I really don't play a whole lot of games just for fun anymore. You know, for the most part, if I'm playing it, I'm probably recording it. That's just the way it is, because of my schedule and stuff like that. But I finally, after a long time, decided, you know what? I'm going to give this game a try. I have a trip coming up where I'm not going to be able to record anything anyway. Let's try it out and just see. And I'm addicted. I'm totally addicted. It's super fun. It's a super good game, and once I was able to kind of get past the art style of the game, I realized almost instantly why people love that game so much. The people who do play it, because it's genuinely fun, and that's a pretty cool thing. Like, that's not something that you always see. Here. Yeah. There's not really a good way to do that. This is kind of a bizarre number. You know what? You probably won't even notice. It's fine. So the reason that I bring this up is there were a lot of people who had said on that video, oh, I'd love to see you post a couple, Isaac videos. Not a lot, just a couple here and there, get your thoughts on the game, stuff like that. And I was thinking about it, and my initial thought was like, no, I'm a family-friendly channel, and I'm very clearly a family-friendly channel, and I've taken great steps and great measures to make it very clear that I'm a family-friendly channel. And my initial kind of gut reaction is that particular game wouldn't be appropriate for my channel, but I have to admit, I've been toying around with the idea because the game has kind of become part of my daily routine anyway. Like, I wake up in the morning, I get a cup of coffee, and while I'm kind of becoming coherent, so to speak, I'll play one Isaac run. And I just kind of wanted to get your guys' opinion. Would that be a game that, A, you think you'd have any interest in watching, and B, whether or not you'd be interested in watching it or not, if you're familiar with the game at all, do you think it's appropriate for a family-friendly channel? And I'm more interested in the answer to that question than the other. If I remember, I will put a poll up right now in the upper right-hand corner of the screen with that question. Is Binding of Isaac appropriate for my channel? And I'd like to get your guys' thoughts, because my initial, like, gut reaction says no. But at the same time, it's not like, I don't know. It's hard to explain. And if you're not familiar with the game, it's going to go completely over your head. But, like, the game just has a lot of really kind of dark, twisted themes. It's not really a game that has, like, gratuitous violence or horrible, super, I don't know. Anyway, I think you guys understand the point that I'm trying to convey. Maybe I did a bad job of explaining that. I don't know. But I'd like to get your guys' opinion. Is that something that I should think about and maybe consider doing a couple videos here and there? Not a lot. It wouldn't be a focus of the channel at all, but just, you know, a video here and there maybe if I have an exceptionally good run or something like that. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think on that thought. What I want to do here, as I said, is I want to put like a little overhead thing. How to explain this? I want to put what's the proper term? Like a roof? Not a. I mean, a roof. I suppose that's a clear enough term that there's a name for it, and I can't think of the proper name. But basically a little roof over this area. And I'm thinking what we'll do. I need. Where's my ender chest? Let's throw you down. This is all random stuff that I don't need. Good. We can put that all in here. Let's grab some of that, because I'm going to need some stone brick stairs. And then I also need some polished andesite, I think. And what we'll do... Let's give this a try. Let's turn these into stone brick. And then make ourselves some stone brick stairs. There. Good. And then last, I also want to make myself just a couple stone brick slabs. All right, let's try this out, because this is what I'm thinking, right? Up here, we'll put an andesite block like this, right? And then we'll take our stairs and go boop, boop, like this. And it's basically just going to kind of form these little small arches as we kind of go along here as best we can. Now, there's some areas, like over here, for example, where we're not going to be able to make it exact. It's just, come on, place. It's going to have to, we're going to have to kind of freestyle it a little bit, just because the dimensions aren't exactly the way we would necessarily want. But something like that, here we could go like that, put this one here, and this is where the stone slabs come in place, and we could do something like that, right? So we get these kind of arches, and then from there... Wow, I like skipped. I like skipped off the ground. That's okay. From there, we can take our... I have so much stuff that... Oh, no, you must face the right way. From there, we can take some dark oak slabs. And let's leave ourselves a little bit of inventory space. And we can put those on top to form our actual roof. And it doesn't have to be exactly perfect. Like, if it's close, I'll be happy with it. Can I make that? That's going to be difficult, isn't it? Let's do that. There we go. So from here, we would go probably out, right? And then up. And then over here. Oh, come on. Oh, and maybe... No. I think we'd want to go out all the way. Like this. I'm trying to sort this out. We're going to have to... That was the worst. That was the worst parkour ever. Try again. There we go. So we'd probably bring this up at an angle like so, right? Now, obviously, in some spots, that's not going to translate over all the way. Did I? I did. I totally messed that up. There we go. So we'll bring it over as best we can. Right? Like that. But then like here, for example, it's going to kind of stick out a little bit. So we'll have to kind of bring it over there. And then it'll have to kind of come up like this. And then here. And, you know, it's not going to be entirely perfect everywhere. But I think when all is said and done, it'll end up looking relatively good. So let's take a look at that from a distance. It looks a little funky from right here, but let's kind of take a look at it from out over here. Yeah, I think that would look pretty good if we did the whole thing. It looks a little weird right now because it's just this tiny little part. But I think that'll work. And it'll give us kind of a cool little detail piece and help us work a little bit of color into the build that isn't gray as well. And I think that's a good idea. And then in here, we'd probably just do slabs like this, right? Probably bring those across down the... Or maybe even we just flat slab the entire interior. Yeah, I think we'd probably do that. Yeah, I'm good with that. So I'm going to get that finished. And actually, you know what? I think I'm going to do that between episodes, guys, because we are pretty much out of time for this one anyway. So, my friends, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave me a comment. I do appreciate it, and it really helps out my channel. You can also find me on Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch. There are links in the video description below, so check that out as well. Otherwise, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll definitely see you next time.